There was a time when like, something bad would happen, something wouldn't go my way, and it'd be like, oh, no, poor me. And it just that it's not the way to approach it, especially if you run a business.
Yeah,
You can't afford to think like that, or you're not going to make it.
I know the mindsets you have running a business are essential to, they really, I think, impact your success more than anything else.
I'm Brannon Poe, and this is the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast, where you can enjoy engaging conversations about mergers and acquisitions and accounting practice management. Listen in on strategies to build a more fun and valuable accounting firm.
Welcome to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast. I have a guest that's special to us. He actually is a past buyer. He bought from us in 2019. Ryan Pulice, a CPA and certified tax planner. He's also the host of the CPA Zone podcast. He's held prominent roles as a chief financial officer and finance director at various companies before going out on his own and founding the Pulice Group. He earned his master's in professional accountancy from West Virginia University. His expertise lies in tax planning for real estate investors and small business owners. He currently lives in Great Falls, Virginia, and with his wife and daughter. And outside of work, he practices jujitsu and loves to read. That's an odd combo right there. Reading.
Yeah, yeah, it is. When I was younger, I was into martial arts. That went away for a period of time, and yeah, I always liked lifting weights.
Yeah.
But now, in my 40s, everything starts to hurt. So I visited a gym. It's only been maybe 6 months nearby. About 6 months ago, I just checked it out and tried a class. I was like, okay, this is awesome. I'm going to start doing it. It's just a much better workout, and it could be intense. Yeah, because you could get pretty sore and injured, but
Yeah.
the times I go, it's a lot of guys in like 30s, 40s, 50s. So no one's there trying to kill each other, but get a good workout and some pretty cool stuff.
My son in his 20s tried jujitsu, and he loved it. And he doesn't do it anymore, but he did it for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Another thing is, I didn't know, you said in your bio, you said you enjoy visiting the wineries of Northern Virginia. I didn't know there were wineries in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. There is out in Loudoun County, which is like Leesburg. I don't know how familiar you are with Northern Virginia. We're right outside of DC. And in a few of the counties out here, there are, I don't even know how many wineries there are. Just in Loudoun County, I think there's several, like 4 or 5 dozen.
Wow.
You're looking somewhere between 50 and 60 wineries. There's a lot. They have some pretty good wine in this area.
Yeah. There's wine everywhere. There's wine in Southern Ontario. I didn't know that. But
yeah, I didn't know that either.
Southern Ontario. All right. Well, Ryan, we'd like to get to know you a little better. So if you could just share with our audience just a little bit about yourself and how did you choose to become a CPA?
Yeah, so I grew up in northern West Virginia, so the Northern Panhandle, a small town called Weirton, West Virginia. It's about 30 to 40 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, so that was our closest major city. Went to WVU. When I first went, I thought I wanted to do computer science or programming. So I started out, I always enjoyed math, and I had some calculus credits from like high school going into college. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go into computer science, got some of the math credits out of the way. And as you dive into the programming portion, I realized pretty quick it wasn't for me. Just you miss a semicolon and the whole thing's shot, and I don't really have the patience for that, I guess. So at the time, business had always sort of been an interest to me, but I didn't know exactly what. And I went to the business school first, asked them what the hardest major was. They said either accounting or finance. My dad recommended accounting. Get your CPA, and this gives you a license and kind of offers protection for the industry. So like, all right, I'll try accounting. And I went got my undergraduate, stayed, got my master's because the 150 credit hour requirement. And I enjoyed the classes. I realized that it really is sort of like the language of business. So I kind of just fell into it because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Went in thinking one thing, then changed. And And here I am. And honestly, that's probably one of the best decisions I ever made, because right now, as you probably know, there's the industry as a whole, there's a shortage of CPAs. We could use many more. In fact, the AI CPA is considering changing that 150 credit hour. Maybe it's not the AI, whoever governs the CPA accreditation,
Yeah.
who sets those rules, that they're considering changing it from getting rid of that 150 credit hour rule and going back to something like 120, which I think would be good, because that fifth year, I think, just gives a lot of people away.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what do you think's the greatest challenge in the industry right now? And I'm getting that answer a lot.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find people. And I guess you've had some of that, you've encountered that as well with your practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I don't blame them, because, when you compare it to, let's say you get a degree in finance and go work as an investment banker, you're working crazy hours, but the pay's higher than, say, a person starting off working in the accounting industry. So, you either need to do something where it pays better, or you reduce the hours, or some combination. So I think the correct answer is probably some combination, because you get so much burnout in this space that, and that's not fun for anyone.
Right.
And we try to limit the number of hours during our busy season, like during tax season. We encourage no one to work more than 60 hours. And that would be everything, not just billable time. So total time. It's difficult, especially when, you have these deadlines looming. And, I do think the pipeline to get new CPAs in is a bit strained at the moment. And you have a lot of older CPAs retiring, especially since COVID hit. I think all the changes that happened then, all the COVID programs, which were a nightmare when they were being rolled out. I think a lot of people were just like, I can retire a year early and just be done with it.
When did you buy your practice through us? It was like
2019. Yeah. So we closed in December 2019.
Like a year.
So yeah, right before, right before COVID hit. But, from our side, the tax industry, accounting industry, where they were considered essential. So we had the extension into mid-July, which is probably a good thing, because there was just a bit more that went into the whole acquisition than I thought. I had my own small practice at the time, but the book I acquired was much larger than my own. So merging everything together that quickly was quite a challenge. So the extension was welcome, but then you had all the chaos of COVID that went into everything. So I'm guessing it's sort of a wash, but
yeah.
Interesting time.
Well, you're still practicing and still going strong. So I guess it all worked out.
Yeah, everything worked out, fortunately. We've grown. At first it was just me. Now there's 5 of us, hoping to add some more soon. I have a business partner now that joined. It's been about a year and a half now.
Nice.
So everything's been going pretty well.
That's great.
Even though there are some challenges in the industry as a whole.
Yeah, well, we talked about the challenges. What about opportunities? What do you think is exciting for you on the horizon?
I think one of the biggest opportunities out there right now is AI. And, you kind of have 2 schools of thought on this. A lot of people are thinking AI is going to come in and take all the jobs. And then there's the other school, which I would fall into, where I think AI is going to make the redundant, boring, tedious work go away, so we can focus more on valuable work, for being that advisor to our clients, and just you're going to have more ability to focus on doing the type of work that you really enjoy and building a practice around that. And you're going to have the tools to back you up and help take care of the mundane, like boring data entry, this stuff no one wants to do. That, you hire someone new and they end up doing all this boring work. There's going to be tools that can really take care of that for you and help with things like research.
I had an interesting use case for it recently, and it did an amazing job with it. I had it create a job description for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like a pretty detailed one.
Awesome.
And I was shocked. And it had things that I probably wouldn't have thought to put in there that were important to have in there.
Yeah.
When we started recruiting and we put this job description out there, we actually got comments like, wow, that was really descriptive. That was very thorough and it was good. And, I got 80% of it from Chat GPT. And then, of course we tailored it once we got
Sure.
the draft, but it's
Yeah,
good.
that's awesome.
Stuff like, just, if you could just start to think about like, gosh, this isn't something I want to do. See if Chat can do it,
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be careful, especially if you're trying to get anything specific, whether it's like something for like a FASB pronouncement or an IRS citation. You still have to check it to make sure what it's giving you is accurate. But the latest release has gotten much better. Like they were in the beginning, like the first few iterations of ChatGPT, it would just make things up. They had a term for that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's gotten a lot better in that regard.
I tried perplexity.ai as well. Have you heard of that one?
I have. Yeah, I haven't used it much. I actually downloaded the app not long ago. I just haven't.
So it cites.
I'm used to going to ChatGPT.
Yeah, it cites its sources for you.
Okay. Awesome.
That's one to check out. But
yeah, there's another called, I think it's called Claude AI. I haven't tried it, but I'm anxious to try it out. I heard someone else talking about it where it can actually read what's on your screen. So you can, rather than prompting it and telling it everything, it can just apparently it can read what's on your screen and sort of take that data into play and do some analysis. Like that would be huge for financial statements or say even a tax return. Because you don't want to load stuff in. If you load stuff in the Chat GPT, there's security issues you have to worry about. That data is just out there in the domain after you upload a document. But this Claude apparently can read what's on your screen, and I don't think it says anything. Something I want to look into because that would be that could be a game changer if that's the case, and it's not a security risk. You're not risking any client data.
Yeah. I have heard other business owners comment that if you're putting anything, that's your intellectual property of your company, you got to be careful there because you're putting it into the web and then it's going to share that with everybody.
Yeah, that's my concern. But from what I heard this third or secondhand, I don't know if it's entirely certain, but it's from my understanding what I heard this AI version that can take in what's on your screen doesn't put your data out there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Something I've been meaning to look into.
What do they say?
Yeah.
Hey listener, are you thinking about selling your accounting practice? In our latest book, Prepare Your CPA Firm for a Sale, we dive into all the questions, from knowing when to sell to finding the right buyer and how to set yourself up for a smooth exit. Download a free copy today at pogroupadvisors.com/prepare.
I always like to get like a really funny story. Accountants have better stories than you might think.
Yeah.
Some really interesting ones that people have shared with me. Do you have a really funny career story?
Funny. The first thing that comes to mind, funny. I don't know. It's really probably not funny for the people involved, but I know there was a couple. They weren't married, but they invested in real estate together and met with husband or not the boyfriend first, and the girlfriend couldn't be there, and just talking to him just in like overall tax planning is wondering like, do you guys think you're going to get married? Because that could change some things here. And he's like, no, I don't think so. So then when I met with her and we were talking about it, I didn't want to bring it up, but like the first thing she says is, well, we're going to get married soon. So here's what I'm thinking. And I want to see numbers as if we got married. So okay. So I just kind of give her an analysis and she takes it back to him. It says, see, he's showing us that if we get married, we're going to save this much money in taxes. So it was a little awkward when I talked and he called and believe it or not, a few months later they were engaged. So I don't know if that sort of prompted if she got on him about it or.
CPA's doing some matchmaking for
yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Well, was he in the room when she said that, or
No. So they would come in together, but their calendars didn't align. So I talked to him first, and I just happened to ask him the question in general because I was thinking, you guys are probably gonna save money if we do this. And like he was adamant, like, no, we're not getting married, nothing happening anytime soon. So when I met with her, I didn't bring it up, and she brought it up like right in the beginning. She's like, I really want to see what things look like if we get married, because I'm thinking we're gonna get married pretty soon.
that's
I was
fine.
just like, okay. So, but
Um,
then I mean, she ended up winning that
yeah, yeah.
one.
So I noticed you're doing a lot of real estate work. How much of your practice is real estate? Is it? I mean,
The majority of our new clients, that's mostly all we take now is real estate. We do have a bit of our legacy clients that aren't involved in real estate, but man, it's still the majority. So even many of our business owners, they might own the building that they operate from, so there's some tie to real estate with all,
yeah,
or the
nice.
majority of them, I should say.
Yeah. Are you learning a lot about the industry? You gonna be a real estate investor too?
Yeah. In fact, I after was it probably right around when I was looking to go out on my own, I started investing in real estate myself. So I kind of got that bug. And that's when I decided, shortly after that, I started buying properties and realized like this should be my niche. This is what I'm going to focus on going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can kind of build wealth with real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
And then when I'm doing things for myself too, it just kind of keeps me, I understand where many of my clients in real estate are coming from as an investor, because I am.
Yeah.
That's helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get into a field and you don't know the lingo, and it's just, every industry has their terms. And so being involved.
I think it's an interesting industry. We recently, last year, we purchased our office and bought an office that needed to be completely gutted and renovated. So we're almost to the point where it's finished. So I think we're going to be finished in a couple of months and move. And it's just been a fun project and a pretty good investment. I think I just got lucky. Found a good buy. But
that's where you make your money. It's on the buy.
Yeah.
But that's when you really make your money.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Well, I always like to understand what people are reading. You have any good book recommendations?
Yeah. So I actually, depends what you're into. So I do read a good bit. I just finished a book called The Prize. It's really like it's a pretty big book. It's like 700 pages, but it's like a history of the oil industry. I don't even know what got me into that. I'm trying to remember who wrote it. I have it saved over here. Daniel Yergin. But it's a history of the oil industry and just how much influence and impact oil has had on like global politics and economies from when it started all the way through. I think the book led up to like the 90s when it was written. But it's pretty interesting, and it wasn't one of those books that has like or at least to me there was no noticeable bias. I wasn't saying it's good, bad, or these policies are good or bad. It just kind of just gave it to you as it is. Here's what happened. Very good accounting of the facts throughout the last couple hundred years on the industry.
History of economics.
Yeah, exactly. Then there was another book called Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza. I went into the science of your brain and how it works, and with that, like how things like having the right mindset and a positive attitude, like the science behind how that works. So I thought that was really good, because I do think the right mindset, that's just, it's so important. I know for me personally, when I like make up my mind to do something, stay focused on it and positive, and don't let setbacks get you down. It's such a world of difference, because before, like there was a time when like, something bad would happen, something wouldn't go my way, and it'd be like, oh, no, poor me. And it's not the way to approach it, especially if you run a business. You can't afford to think like that if you're not going to make it.
I know the mindsets you have running a business are essential they really, I think, impact your success more than anything else.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree.
I think it's just like the example that you gave, and kind of the state of mind that you can put yourself in when things don't go right. And really, when you think about it, like some of the obstacles you hit are the very things that give you the breakthrough on the other side.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's awesome. Well, Ryan, this has been a great conversation. I've enjoyed catching up with you and learning
absolutely
what you're doing. And thanks for contributing. I'm sure our listeners got some interesting tidbits from today. What's the best way for people to connect with you and maybe listen to your podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast, you can find it on Apple Podcasts or any of the major podcast apps. It's called the CPA Zone. So it's a focus on pretty much tax for real estate investors and small business owners. And you can also find the podcast on YouTube. And then our website is thepulicegroup.com. So that's ThePulicegroup.com. And that has all of our company information there.
Nice. And we'll put those in the show notes so people.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it.
And all right, Ryan. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. It's great talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast. You can keep the momentum going by subscribing and sharing your thoughts with us. Visit our website at pogroupadvisors.com for more resources, and tune in next time for more exciting conversations like this one.